Good Friday morning. This gospel is potent today. Now it's similar to what we saw in Luke, okay? But now it's only one blind. It's two blind men, not one. This text doesn't have the punch that Luke had. Okay, I think if I remember Luke right. As Jesus passed by, two blind men followed him, crying out, "Son of David, have pity on us." When he entered the house, the blind men approached him, and Jesus said to them, "Do you believe I can do this?" "Yes, Lord," they said to him. And he touched their eyes and said, let it be done for you according to your faith." And their eyes were opened. Jesus warned them sternly, "See that no one knows about this." But they went out and spread the word throughout the land. I don't know why he didn't want them to tell it, but that's another story. I think I know some theory behind that, but whatever. But in Luke's gospel, the singular guy, "Lord, that I may see." That is a great prayer. I think it's a prayer we could all say over and over again, as a nation, as a culture, as a people, as individuals. "Lord, that I may see." I think of my little Sarah, her grandmother's great line, "To love Sarah, you must first see Sarah. You must first see her, not know her, see her. Lord, that I may see." In seeing with the heart, you become wise. You could know a lot and not be wise. That was my homily this morning. You could be a great scientist and be as absolute a fool. The world's full of them. Very smart, educated people who are foolish. Sometimes they become the foolish instruments of horror. Again, I go back to my favorite example, Nazi scientists. They did what Hitler told them to do. Unbelievable. Where was the protest? Were they wise? Prudential, maybe, in the sense of calculating, covering their own asses. But were they wise? You show me wisdom. I don't see a shred of it. Right? Lord, that I may see what is true and good and beautiful. Sarah's grandmother, it may have given up one of the most brilliant singular lines I ever heard by anybody, biblical and otherwise. Lord, that I may see. To love, one must have a heart open to see. Before you can love Sarah, you must first see her. Have to see her. You have to see each other. But that takes the courage of the heart to love and have the will to abandon oneself to the beauty of the beloved. Not out of fear, but out of the courage to be consumed by the beauty of the other. That's the gospel today. These men want to see. They want to see and be free of the darkness of ignorance and isolation and horrifying loneliness. They want to see the beautiful and be consumed by it. See? I think so. I think that is absolutely right. I think they're completely right. Lord, that I may see. Give me the courage and the heart open to seeing. And I think that is true of religion. It's no longer culturally available, as I said before. Okay, I said it yesterday. It's not available. The culture will not say that. The culture will say something else. They'll leave you in your blindness. They're better off in your blindness. Because then it's their wisdom, the pseudo-wisdom of the world, which will be compelling. It's the only one you're going to know. You're going to know but not see. Right? But if you see the beauty of the gospel, and then not diverted even by the scandals of the church, but if you see the beauty of the gospel, if you have a heart open to see it, I'm not saying it well, then the beauty of the gospel will be compelling to you, because the gospel are the words of Christ. They are Christ himself. But one has to have a heart open to loving Christ. Not judging him, not figuring him out, open to him. And that takes the courage to love and be loved by. Both. To love and be loved by. Because once you're loved by someone, then you are drawn into that beauty. You're no longer isolated. That's the good news. But it also means in the communion of love, there is a tremendous sense of the importance of the other, to whom you must respond affectionately, intimately, totally. You can't figure out the beloved and keep him or her or Christ at a distance. Once you love, then the beauty of Christ compels you to communion. That's the truth. Old Pat was so right what she said. To love Sarah, you first must see her. She had it exactly right. To love Christ, you have to have the will to see him, the heart to see him in the life of the Christ, which is the church. I had to learn that lesson a long time ago when I was in the monastery and Humpty Dumpty came off the wall with the Second Vatican Council, and all the pieties, all the conventional pieties went to hell in a handbag. But I also had to learn something more fundamental than that. In other words, I had to believe in Christ or leave the outfit. And I chose to believe. But then I had to take one more step. I had to believe in the beauty of Christ in the flesh. And the life of Christ in the flesh are the people of God. And I had to stop looking for innocence and perfection. I had to see beauty. So I told my little Sarah, I said, sweetie, don't look for perfection. You'll ever find it. You'll never find it, but you'll find beauty. But you have to have a heart open to the beautiful. And you'll see the beauty come in multiple forms. Some of the most beautiful men I lived with in the monastery were men who struggled with addiction, alcohol, or even emotional difficulties, but who persevered and who struggled with their faith and struggled with their lives. They were beautiful men. It was a privilege to be in their company for so many years. In some cases where I cared deeply for them, they didn't care for me. That's the case. I think I must have been a jerk to live with. I don't know. Sometimes I felt that somehow if it was 4 ways to put my shoe and my sandal in my mouth, I'd pick 12 because I made up 8 more, okay? And I felt maybe in some ways I seemed to them to be a jerk. But they weren't a jerk to me, even in their most human moments, sometimes the most terrible moments of alcohol, seeing them struggle. But at the same time, they were beautiful men. I had to learn to open my heart, not to see perfection, but to see beauty. And I saw it in the men in the outfit. They're all dead now, the men that most influenced me. I don't judge them. I'm grateful that they allowed me in their lives. Flawed as they were beautiful. And maybe they began to see me as beautiful as well, as flawed as I was, as the jerk that I was in many ways. I think of myself, I had to be a jerk. You know, I don't know how or why, maybe just being me. But as time has gone on, I remember them with affection and honor and respect. They persevered. They died with the faith and in the faith. They persevered all their life amidst all their struggles. They were beautiful. They were beautiful men. And I see so much in the parish the same way and among my family and friends. I don't look for perfection. I look for beauty, and it's there. But you have to have a heart open to the beauty. You have to be willing to see it. If you think if you want to play it safe, you will, but you will never see, and you will die alone. You will die alone. That's the horror of it all. You will get what you saw. You didn't see because you didn't want to see. These blind men wanted to see. You don't have the courage to see. You will die alone, a lonely, miserable death, and no one will cry. I have to say, whatever's worth, some of the saddest funerals I've ever seen, where there were no tears. Nobody cared. That's a horrible testimony. I remember when one woman died, I didn't know her, but as her neighbor said to me, a good friend of mine said to me, there are no wet tears in that house. Well, she must have been something. No wet tears, you know. Maybe she forgot to see. She didn't want to see. And in seeing, be seen and loved intimately. I don't know. But I know that Sarah's grandmother was right. To see, you have to have the courage to see. And if you see, you will see her beauty and you will love her. You will love him. You will love Christ. But you have to have a heart to see.